Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We are here on a live interview with Jita De Fine Art. I'm Marinella and I'm a visual artist. I'm a co-founder of Art Classes Group, a platform for online art classes. We have art shop and we have an art studio where you can in Slough, where you can just pop in and do some art. Today, our program it is called "Don't Just Make Art, Let's Talk About Art," and our guest is Jita. So it's very exciting to find out about her work. How are you, Jita?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation to join us in
My
the
pleasure,
interview
and thank
today.
you for asking as well. Thank you.
So, Jita, it is exciting that you have an exhibition running currently at the Curve in Slough. It is a virtual solo exhibition. This sounds amazing and quite new into the world of art. Um, can you tell us a little bit about your background, about when your passion for art started and how you developed it?
Um, as far as I can remember, art is all around us. And when I was little, when I was really little, I used to, with my grandma, I used to make like those little clay lamps, and
Yeah.
um, it kind of like it tickles your imagination of a child, that little lamp, it's a clamp of like a little dough can do so much, like in transform
Yeah.
into little diyas. And then yeah, I think that is my earliest memory. And yeah, we went to an all girls school, and me and my sister, and we used to do a lot of art there. I
Yeah.
mean, not just in pen and paper, but or not just in canvas as well. I mean, we used to do lot of other stuff like stitching, say, like doing collage. Yeah, that I
Nice.
remember. And I remember one of my particular teacher, and she was very particular that you can't use scissors, you have to use your hands, and find whatever around your house, like a magazine, like newspaper, and just you have to tear it and you have to make a scene. So first it was very hard, but I thought, oh my god, when the result comes, when you see actually people doing it, and it's brilliant. I didn't do art, that
Oh,
seriously until 2015. And
right.
then I started doing it like regularly, and doing it for friends, like giving them, like rather than giving them a shop brought card for Christmas or anything,
Yeah.
you do it for yourself, like you do it, you buy the material and do it from the scratch. And yeah, that's how it started. And I started doing oil as well, which I have never done. I always done either like graphite, or like watercolor, or the crayons, which is
Yes.
the pastel colors. But so I mean, I like the oil, and I
Mhm.
ever since that is, since then, I never left oil. I mean, I like oil color. And yeah, and that's how it started. That's how it started, like doing it for friends, really. And they appreciated it, and then you think, okay, you can do it then. And that's how I picked it up.
Interesting. Very nice. Thank you so much for this. And at the moment, what is your particular style in art? Are there any specific materials that you use? You mentioned about oils, but is it currently that you're using only oils? So what
um,
is, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, when I started with oil 2015, and it was like, pure, just, just oil on canvas. And then as you explore, you see those like impestos. Impesto means,
yeah,
like, those the things that are kind of like coming out of the, and it's interesting how when you take the photograph of it, or when you actually like see face to face,
yeah,
it creates so much effect. And I was really interested that how can I create that, how can I create
yes,
that sort of a like texture. and there are materials available, you can use, there are so many brands available that you can create that texture. And yeah, and sometimes, I mean, it's crazy. You can start with very basic material like, PVA glue and the
Mm.
tissue papers
Yeah.
to create kind of like an, like say you are making, you want to make kind of like an uneven surface, so you, or bark of a tree you want to kind of like pop out of your canvas. So if you don't have like, those professional materials, you can create it at home, like, with the tissue paper, and dab it with the, the glue, and then you color it with acrylic, and then the final layer you can put some oil or whatever medium you are doing. So yeah, and then that I mainly used. And in my exhibition, what I used in one of the paintings I did with
Yeah. Shall we share the
this,
paintings?
yeah,
Yeah,
if
the
you,
pictures. Yeah.
yeah, the sailboat, I remember that was like really interesting. Oh,
Uh,
this one is
yeah,
this is
let's start on
pure.
this one.
Oh,
Yes.
let's talk about this. Yeah,
Yes.
this one is yeah, this one is like, I was so like impressed with the brush strokes,
Right.
and I really like to create
What
it.
is the title of this artwork?
That's a spring blossom. Yes, it
Spring
is
Blossom.
like when, we in
What
this
is the
country.
style mostly that you approached for this?
Yeah, this is like most of the. I mean, it's supposed to be like realistic, but it
Yeah.
end up like, I like the brushstrokes so much.
Yeah.
First I thought I will not show the brushstrokes at all. Like, I will
Yeah.
smudge it. I will give it a realistic look.
Yeah.
How like, the like flowers or these leaves like blooms in the springtime,
Yeah.
but I end up like, doing and end up like leaving like that, because that's what I like. That's it's one of my favorite as well. I like the brushstrokes. I mean,
Yeah.
if you see Monet, if you
Yeah.
see like Van Gogh, you
Yeah.
don't have to describe like, what is the brushstrokes does to just like a blank canvas, what it does. Yeah, yeah, this is purely like it end up it should be. I started thinking that it would be a realism, but it
Yeah.
end up like being an impressionistic. So
Yes.
that
Yes.
is it, and
Yeah.
I like the color. And
Mm.
um this is, I think, if I remember, this is the first thing that I restricted myself not to use too many colors.
Mhm.
When you go like see the colors, and I thought, okay, I will just concentrate on the hues of the greens and yellows.
Yes.
And yeah, yeah.
Yeah, indeed. This is a good exercise in learning when you paint to
Mm,
use just a few colors,
mm,
maximum
mm,
three colors. This is the best
mm,
exercise. It makes you to explore the color,
mm,
get
mm.
as many variations as possible. Exactly what we see from your painting it is amazing. So all you can see is just variations of green and yellow, and is just outstanding. How many shades can you get just from two colors?
Yes,
Uh,
yes, yes, yes.
I'm trying to move towards the next painting. Yeah.
Oh, this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one has a little bit of texture on the canopy itself.
Right.
And it I mean, the concept, when I did this, I had kind of a thing in mind. I Again, the two color story, basically. In oil, if you use Winston and Newton, there is one shade called Indian red. So I was experimenting Indian red and Terra Verde, if I'm pronouncing it right. That the name sometimes like
Yeah.
Tello blue. Some people say Tello blue. Some people say differently. But the particular shade
Yeah.
was Terra Verde, which is kind of like a mossy green. So I thought I will just do something with these two colors, which is green, and another is Indian red. So it's called Indian red, but when I actually put it in the in the canvas, it turned out to be like it's more on the brown side, more on the
Mm.
it's not that the yellow I mean, we all know the color story like RGB, so it's
Yeah.
more towards the darker side. And
Yes.
so yeah, so that I had that in mind, but again, those two colors, and I thought, yellow gonna go nice, and I have to put some white on that, and it
That.
came out
Yes.
it
Yes.
came out like a canopy. And then I
Yeah.
thought, yes, if you go for a walk, woodlands, if you go near, I used to go to Chilterns and stuff. So
All right.
so, and if you go to walk and, in a sunny day, and if you look up, the light comes through, and the woodland floor is like, just little dark, but, if you look above,
Yeah.
it's so beautiful, it looks, and it kind of came out like that. I had something in my mind, but it came out like that. And yeah, and it has a little bit of texture as well, where the canopy is. I like, which is very hard to describe like virtually, because you can't see, if
Yes.
yeah, you can't see that, where the, the impasto is
Brussels.
coming
Yeah.
out of the coming out of the canvas. So for the texture here, I use a tissue paper, very thin layer of tissue paper, and then put it in the canvas, and then of course the primer, and then you work from it,
Hmm.
that
Interesting.
it look a little bit of like, it's kind of like popping out. So that was an experiment. So it started with three, like, I mean, the two colors and like a impasto style. So yes, and I am glad that it came out nicely.
Yes,
Thank
it is indeed a very atmospheric painting. You can
you.
feel, you are in a forest, and it
Yes,
gives
yes.
that feeling of depthness, and it's really nice, very atmospheric. Talking about this painting, I'm really curious, Jida, how do you paint plein air outside, or you mostly do your works in the studio?
I, to be honest with you, I mean, people start with like plein air, and then like towards, more towards their studio. But for me, it's just complete different. I mean, I did most of the time at indoors from my memory, or like when you go for
No.
a walk, or like, when you go visit places, and you take pictures, right? And you look at them, and then you try to kind of like, recreate that.
Oh,
And this one is like a recreation. What I remember of the forest floor, and the you can take like panoramic shots to, and
yeah,
now it is like the whole forest, and it looks beautiful. And so
yeah,
that was this one. But plein air, I just started plein air, doing plein air. I mean, during this lockdown time,
yeah,
because you can't go anywhere. So just go to the park,
yeah,
with your little bit of, art material, either doing a graphite sketch, or
yeah,
like, if you just take few colors, and then, do that.
yeah,
Yeah, it is. But
yeah.
not this one. This one is, it's out of
In
a
the studio.
photograph, and I have something in my mind. So yeah, it is.
Thing. I'm going to change towards the next picture. Can see a little bit different in style.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. It's
What is the
called
title of the? Yeah.
yeah. The title is "Through the Veils of the Rocks."
Mm.
It's kind of like, like, I like to imagine, I'm an imaginative person, being so, like, the veil means like, kind of like, so think about a bride who is wearing the
Yeah.
veil, and you can lift it up, and you can see the beautiful bride and all these.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I remember going to this place, and it's basically a tunnel. It's in
Oh.
Utah, in USA, and it's called Antelope Canyon. So it used to be. I mean, the geological history of it is fascinating. That how these rocks, millions of years ago, river used to go through this,
Right.
and then that formed these rocks like so closely knit together, and that if you look up, only from there, those slits, the light comes in, and creates
Mm.
beautiful patterns. So that's why the veil, it's kind of like the rock is kind of
Yes.
creating a veil to the sun, and you can see the light is coming through, and the rock itself looks beautiful because of the material. It
Yeah.
is geological factor. I mean, it's called sandstone, and whenever the light comes to the sandstone, it creates beautiful colors. And in Utah, or probably this is in North Arizona, in the border.
Mm.
So their atmosphere and their climate, kind of it's like it's very hot climate, so it creates that beautiful effect. And if you ever been there, I mean, anybody go there, or even if you see the pictures, the Antelope Canyon pictures, it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. And as an artist, it has to, inspire you to do something about it. And yeah, the in this painting, it's purely, it's pure oil. There is no texture, nothing in
Right.
that. And
Mm.
it's kind of, I tried to stick to realism here, like restricted myself not to go too far, like, not the brush strokes or anything. Just think about there is a reference picture, and think about the place, and just
Mm.
draw, with the pencil, and then start with the color, experimenting with the color, which color will. And another thing, you have to remember the aesthetic of it. So
Yeah.
uh, red rock, yeah, I will do a red rock, but mostly when I was like really looking close to the picture, and like, when you pixelate it, or when you
Yeah.
kind of see it like pixel by pixel, and there is lot of, like, these purplish shades were coming off, because we went there in a hot day. And if you yeah, if you put it in a laptop, that picture, and then you kind of like, zoom in as much
Yeah.
as you can to see the actual color, that what is beneath,
Yeah.
so there, I mean, beneath the red one, there was a lot of purple. Or maybe I should have shared the reference picture here as well. So the reference picture, I mean, where we were, I mean, it's a kind of like a half a mile walk through the tunnels, and every turn, wherever the light came in, it created a different effect. Somewhere it's like more dark, somewhere like it's more airy, or like, the light creating different effects. So this one has like this purplish effect, and I really like it. And yeah, this is pure like realism, and this is
Yeah.
pure oil on canvas. It's nothing in it.
Is brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing. The story behind this painting
Yeah.
is literally for viewers. When they listen to the story behind any painting, after that you see the painting with different eyes. So
Yes.
now I understand the concept. I understand where it was your inspiration from, and
Mhm.
it's so
Yes.
nice to hear the stories.
Thank
From the artists.
you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for this. And another interesting thing is about the exhibition in the Curve,
Mm,
your virtual solo exhibition.
mm.
Um, so, do you feel there is any difference between the virtual exhibitions and the actual physical ones?
Yeah, of course there is like a difference, when you go to a gallery physically, you feel the atmosphere, there are so many paintings around you, and you can, like, you can touch it, if you can, I don't know, but you can touch it, you can feel it, and you can see in front of your eye, like every depth of it, every corner of it, every pixel of the color of it, it's so yeah, there is a difference, but that cannot be done in
Yeah,
virtual.
current.
Virtual means you get a glimpse, unless and until, like, in the last one, my last picture, it was through the veils of the rock, because I didn't give any reference picture. It's very hard for, a viewer to actually know the, what is this, I mean.
Yeah.
That's why when we do virtual, I mean,
Yeah.
when I was approached, I mean, my exhibition was thoroughly planned, like physical, like anybody,
All right.
yes,
It
it
happened.
was arranged to have a physical exhibition. back in 2020 in January. But then since
Yeah.
since March, things have changed and everything, so you cannot kind of do it. So I contacted the lady who were doing all these things, and she said, we can do virtually if you happy with it. And I never done it virtually.
Yes.
So it was a challenge for me, and then I shared some ideas like how can we do it, and she helped me as well, that if you add a little story about it, or
Mm.
if you are doing mixed media, then you can do different angles. So it is, I mean, we are accepting the new normals now, because the world changed so much. So we have to reach to the audience, as pleasingly or as effectively as
Mm.
it should. It's like a physical exhibition. So all these details, you have to put it up, which is sometimes it's not possible for technical reason. I remember, if I may share, I remember, I mean, she asked me for 10 pictures, and I couldn't even upload the whole file. It was failing because the size is so huge. So these are the, I mean, these are the glitches of, doing it virtually, because you have something in mind and then you have to take it down, because it
Yeah.
cannot be, because so much pressure on the system. And we artists, we necessarily don't know everything about the technology, that how big the file will be. And but you kind of did the whole thing, like the collage. Like collage means like the picture, different angles, and the story, and you did a file, and then the file is so big that cannot be put it on.
I
So
know.
these are the challenges doing virtual exhibition.
Yeah. I think something happened with the connection. So yeah, indeed, it is amazing what Jita said. I remember having my own art exhibitions, and it was quite enjoyable to see people there in front of your own paintings, to see
Yes,
them
yes.
taking pictures, of your paintings in the
And
background. It is
interaction,
amazing.
and the
Yeah,
interaction, I mean, they,
yeah,
they ask you a question, and then
yeah,
you happily answer that, and you
yeah,
engage that. That's what we are missing, really.
yeah.
And obviously, I mean, for me, I would say, I would like doing, like a old style, if I may say, like
Yes, yeah, it's true. It's just as an artist, we need to adapt. We need
I
to
like to
adapt.
do it like
Mm,
I like to do it, physical exhibition, because it's more interactive basis, and it's kind of like more engaging. But virtually, yes, you can give them a glimpse. But as
yes.
I said, I struggle with technology because of the file size and all these stuff. Yeah, it is really frustrating. Where you go to a gallery, you put it up yourself, and then you talk to your audience, and you
Yeah.
describe them. That is quite different, and that is quite preferable. I think that is quite preferable to any artist.
Yeah.
It's like
It's
face to
true.
face engagement, and it's the viewers to be able to see it. Yeah, it is.
It's true. It's true. I think the advantage of having a virtual exhibition might be the potential viewers. You might have quite a large audience for this. You can
Yes.
reach people that probably local
Hmm.
wouldn't be enough. So you can reach beyond, any possible limit. This might be the advantage of having
Yes,
a
yes,
virtual
yes,
exhibition.
definitely,
But like you
definitely.
said, it's just a glimpse of the
Yeah,
actual one, to
actually.
see that, the brush strokes, to see, everything from the actual painting. Indeed. But yeah, we need to adapt to the new reality in
Exactly,
order to survive.
exactly.
That is brilliant. Chita, just as a last question,
Mhm.
for our young artists, do you have any advice if they want to pursue a career in art, or if they want to develop a passion in art, what they should, be aware of, or what should they do for this?
Oh, art is like,
Yes, we have a
a
lot of young
lot of
ones.
young people. I mean, yes, art is like any other profession. It's
Yeah.
needs, you have to know. I mean, it's very fascinating to see children.
Mm.
I think children are naturally, they
Artists.
kind of naturally, yes, exactly. I mean, they naturally tend towards, doing something in the paper. Could be
Yeah,
scribbles, could I mean, some children like baking and stuff. You can
yeah,
do anything. But thing is that I mean, pursuing that as a career, like any other career, it has its pros and cons. But
mm,
as long as you know what you want, that is the most
exactly.
pinnacle of the whole story, or the pinnacle of the question, that do I have enough passion to do art like day after day,
Mm,
like sometimes like any other profession, I'm always like comparing, like there would be like down days when, because you work alone most of the time, with the artist, not only the artist, like who draw the picture, who write books, who write children's stories and all these,
yeah,
it's of your own. So like you have to think a lot, you have to see
mm,
a lot, you have to study a lot, and you have to represent. And then again, it might work, it might not, that,
yeah,
but that shouldn't put you off. You have to be very persistent, and you have to know for
yeah,
sure that that you are passionate about it. Yes, you can do it for day after day, night after night, you can do it, and success will come,
yeah,
and take it to the public, and do your stuff, if you are passionate about it, do it, do it, show it to the world. I mean, I'm definite there are people out there
yeah,
which who will match your vibration,
yes,
what you are saying, what you are doing, what you are projecting to the world. That these exhibitions is about, it's artists way of, or artist gateway to engage with the wider
mm,
audience. That, that's what I think, that's what dear to me, and that's how I see, the forest floor, that's how I see the world, that's how I see the spring blossoming.
yeah,
So if you think that you can do it, you have to know. For
yeah,
any individual, not only the children, I mean, I seen many of my friends, they are in later stage in their life, and they took up the brush, and then they said, why didn't I do it, why didn't I do it, like, it's
exactly.
so comforting, and so this
Yeah,
is the thing I was missing, is kind of stuff. So yes, so anyone who wants to pursue art as a
yeah,
career, there will be ups and downs, but you have to be sure that you know what you want,
yes,
and you are very passionate about it. You cannot drop that, okay, they said that, it just, what she did, it's not good, but that shouldn't put you off.
yes,
Or sometimes you don't feel like doing anything, like,
yeah,
it just, nothing coming out of your head, or you just scribbling. But again, you have to believe that, you can one day, one day something will come out,
yeah,
and yeah.
it
So
is.
yeah, and it's very nice, Marinella. I must say here that, it's very nice to see that what you are creating for the children and adults, not only
Thank you.
children. I mean, young minds. I would say,
Yeah,
artists are always young minds. They
yes,
they, they see the world differently, and what you are creating, that space, is amazing. It's amazing, honestly. I mean,
thank you so
you
much.
must be very, very passionate about art, and you share this knowledge, and you create a beautiful space. And I can look the background, it's a mural, I can say. And
Yeah,
it's just, it's brilliant. You don't know how many minds or how many spirits you have touched through that, just that mural. I mean, children are imaginary. Children are imaginative.
yes.
They are. I mean, you tickle their imagination by just doing this. And thank you so much for
No
doing that.
worries, and
Creating that space in
yeah.
Slough is beautiful. I must appreciate.
Thank you so much. It is, actually amazing to work with children. And for us as an established artist, believe me, I actually learn from children.
Exactly.
Is
Exactly.
they
It's an
are,
exchange. It's an
yeah,
exchange, you know.
is
You learn from
unbelievable.
them as well.
It
Yes.
is
Yes.
unbelievable, their passion. And you just give them a piece of paper, a pencil, and then they create your a drawing for you in seconds. Or if you give to an adult a pencil and believe me, and a piece of paper, they will think, "Oh, what shall I do? Oh, I don't know.
Exactly.
Oh,
The
oh." It's
spontaneity,
a
you know, the
massive
spontaneousness
difference.
of the
Yes,
children. Yeah, exactly,
yes.
exactly.
So
We have
Picasso
so much to
said,
learn from them, you know. That's
"Mm,
why.
it is
That's why.
amazing." Yes. And what I realized during lockdown is that art is amazing for our well-being.
Mhm, mhm.
Literally is saving, our soul from,
Exactly, exactly. It's comforting. As I said,
Mm,
like, you know, some of my friends, like they are in the later stage of their life, you know, they're realizing that, you know, how much it is to them. I say doing art is to homecoming to yourself, you know, that you know yourself through these journeys, you know, years to come, you know, when you look back on your work, it's like a time stamped, if I say, like, you know, at
it's
that
true.
time it's like a timestamp for that time of your own being, what you are thinking, what you are
Yeah.
doing, and that it's kind of like a history for yourself, you know.
Yes.
If I think in that way, people
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
I'm mad, like,
Yeah,
but
no, no, it's like a mark. You're leaving a mark behind
exactly,
you. You
exactly.
leave something behind you.
Mhm.
This is why art is important. This is why the history survives because of
Exactly,
art.
exactly.
So yeah, people might not understand, some people, but like you said, at a certain point in life, you do realize how important art is.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, that is brilliant. Jita, it was amazing today. We heard your stories,
Thank
your
you.
advices. Thank you so much. It was an amazing interview. And
Thank you
thank you so
so
much.
much. Thank you so much, Marinella, for, you know, having me and asking me, you know, thank you. I'm a very
Honestly.
shy person. I don't kind of like, you know, it took me years. And my mom is like, I like to say here that, you know, my mom, who is in nearly in her 70s, and she's really happy, you know, that finally that little girl who used to draw in the, you know, hot
Mm,
day, she used to call me that, close the window, it's so hot. And but I keep scribbling, that girl is taking that, you know, her painting to exhibition. Okay, yeah,
yes,
you did something. I mean, her happiness, you know, I mean,
it's true.
she's my mom, and her happiness counts to me. So yeah, yeah. And
It's good.
thank you so much. You know, thank you so much for asking me. I'm really, really, you know, blessed, and I really pleased. Thank you,
Was nice having you, Jita.
thank
Thank
you.
you once again. And please visit us next Sunday, the same time, 3 o'clock. We're going to
I
have another special guest. So thank you so much, everyone,
thank you,
for joining us, and see you all next Sunday. Thank you,
thank
Jita.
thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.